Hey everyone. You know, this is kind of funny. I had this whole thing showing you how to draw this, picking the paint colors and all that, and I forgot to start the camera. So, what I have done is drawn on my 3 images. I drew it on a scrap piece of paper, then traced over it on some tracing paper, and then transferred it using graphite paper onto my canvas paper. And I painted it, most of it, except you can see on the dresses where I skipped over it because it wasn't necessary to be there, with cad yellow. On the bottom there, I'm using, to make a floor to ground these ladies, I am using a little bit of cad red, very thin, and just, wiping it on there. Then I'm going to use a sponge today, not caring if my fingers get filthy because I end up covered in paint anyways. And I'm tapping in a little bit of cad orange, very lightly, to give the wall behind them some texture. And it's okay that I overlap them a little because it's going to get covered up anyways, and it'll make it look like the paint goes in behind them. Then I will add a little bit of white to the mixture to lighten the color, not to make it pink, but just as like another layer of texture, and just a little bit, tapping it in. All over the background wall. Now I'm painting their arms, their chest, and necks and faces with Mars Black. And this painting I'm doing all with student grade Liquitech basic paints. And I'm using a 1/4 inch angle brush. You could probably get away with just using a detail brush. You can see I needed to grab my glasses so I could see what I was doing. I find the angle brush, I just get a better of a straight line. It's easier for me to go along the edges. It's not necessarily the best, especially being this small, for filling in the spaces. But you use whatever brush you're comfortable with. So I was looking on Pinterest last night and saw something similar to this, which gave me the idea for this painting. And I thought it was kind of cute. The one that I saw, there was a lady holding a fish in a bowl. I cannot say that word. In a hot pink dress, and I don't know, it just like really grabbed my attention. So I was like, I could do something similar to that, and I didn't necessarily want the fish, but I have fruit bowls. So the colors on my palette are ultramarine blue. I thought I grabbed phthalo blue, but I didn't. So it's ultramarine blue, cad yellow, cad red medium, cad orange, titanium white, Mars Black, burnt sienna, just a tiny bit, and some gold, just a tiny bit, and sap green, just a tiny bit. I was going to mix my own greens with the yellow and black, but I couldn't get the color I wanted, so at the end I had to add in the Sap Green. And also the gold and the burnt sienna were afterthoughts as well. Here I've mixed a little bit of ultramarine blue with the titanium white to make a light blue, kind of a light bright blue, and I'm just painting in the dress. It will take 2 coats, so don't panic when it's not covering everything underneath it on the first coat, especially using student grade paints. Here I've mixed my cad yellow and ultramarine blue and white to make a pale bright green, if that makes any sense. But you can make yours any shade you want. You don't have to use these colors. And again, don't panic when it doesn't cover it with the first coat. And I'm also alternating the hat colors of the different ladies. Like if she's wearing a green dress, she's not going to have a green hat, it's going to go somewhere else, just to add some balance with the colors on the canvas. So, you know, if I have blue on the right, maybe I need a little blue on the left. If I have green on the left, maybe I need a little on the right, type of thing. Next thing I'm going to do is use cad red a tiny bit with the titanium white and make a pink, kind of a pale bright pink. And again, it's going to take 2 layers, but I'm just getting it filled in with our very curvy young ladies here. You could make them curvy, or you can make them beanpole style if you like. I went for curvy. Now this is where I bring in the gold and the burnt sienna. I mix a little bit together so it kind of has a bronze kind of look, I guess you'd say. And I'm painting their big floppy earrings and the bowls. And then I will come back later on after I've done some other things and put little beaded necklaces on the ladies. And that's just making little dots, painting the bowls. Time for the second coat, some shadows and some highlights. I just paint in that second layer, then I come back with a tiny bit of black mixed into my blue for shadows and titanium white for highlights. Definitely making their bodacious set of tatas stand out with the shadows and highlights, their curvy hips. This is the titanium white. See how they popped out there? And I'm just kind of streaking it through here and there on the dress. If it looks a little dark, just rub it in with your fingers. Just trying to give it some texture. I'll do the same thing on the green and the pink, just adding a little bit of the black to kind of gray it out a little to make the shadow. Of course, after I've painted the second coat. And then same thing on the pink, same thing on the hats, shadows and highlights. So we're reading this book in history called 40 Acres and Maybe a Mule, and the main character is like a 10, 11-year-old kid. His name is Pascal, and he likes to tell his little friend these jokes. And he says to her, "Do you know why Saturday and Sunday are so strong?" The little girl says, "I don't know." So Pascal tells her, "Because Monday through Friday are weekdays." I just thought that was so cute. working on the hats some, and we're almost done. When you finish all this, putting the color in on the clothing and the highlights and shadows and what have you, then you can go back and touch up any areas where you may have had a little boo-boo, a little slip up with the brush onto the skin color, and just, touch it up a little with the black. Black covers stuff up really easy. And clean up your edges, that's all. You may even want to add a second coat to their earrings, to the bowls, depending on how well the coverage went on your first coat. I did go back and do mine because they just kind of blended in too much with the background. Still touching it up. We're almost finished. We are getting there, and it's looking really good. So we're going to add some fruit to the bowls these ladies are carrying. I'm going to use burnt sienna to paint in the base part of the pineapple. And then I tried to mix my own green. I didn't like how it looked, so this is where I decided to bring in the Sap Green for the pineapple to, make the little top whale spout type leafy part of the pineapple. There, that green showed up. I like that much better. So I am tapping in some of that green that I mixed that I didn't like onto the base part of the pineapple to give it that pineapple-y texture. Now I'm using the end of my brush, not the part you paint with normally, but the other end, and making little circles for a bowl of oranges. And I'm just dipping straight into my cad orange and making like a pyramid there. Now the lady in the middle, she's going to have a bowl of grapes. So I mix my blue and my red to make a purple. And I use a detail round brush and I dip it into that, and then I just touch the tip of it into my white. And then I make little dots. And since it already has the white into it, I've got shadows and highlights right away. And it just makes them pop out. So I just pile them up, trying not to cover up too much stuff, but pile it up so that it looks good. On the oranges, I'm taking a little titanium white, and on one side giving it a little like upside down smile, curving it to the edge, and then coming back with my cad red and doing the other side for a shadow to help them look round. Back to the pineapple. Now I'm tapping in some cad yellow, which didn't show up after it dried, so I go back and add a little white to my cad yellow so it'll show. Now I'm making those beaded necklaces, and that's the gold and the burnt sienna mixture, and I'm just making a little polka dot to make it a little like beaded necklace around the neck there, putting that second layer on the earrings, looking at it, I said, we still need something. We brought that sap green in, and I need to put it somewhere else on this painting. So I decided to have some palm fronds poking in from off the canvas. I just painted one long line using my angle brush, and then shorter lines for the little leaves. Second long line, same thing. Just painted them in, and then I'll do a third one. And I think that added a lot to the painting. It was just like, oh, yeah, that was just what it needed. Something to take away from all that yellow in the background. So, I was quite pleased with that addition. Now, right on the very bottom, I'm taking some more Cab Red, and just along the bottom, rubbing some more in. So, trying to build that depth. Cleaning up my edge there. We're almost done. We can just about call this finished, and I think it looks really pretty. There we go. Put the initials in the corner. We're done. Thank you for watching. Post your finished painting on the Facebook page and share your work. We'd love to see it. Thank you so much, and happy painting.